What is going on, guys? Welcome to Double Tap. This is Mash Those Buttons podcast dedicated to the FGC. I'm, of course, your host, Crash, and with me, I've got Static Gorilla in the building. Meza is out this week. He's nursing a heavy cough, but doesn't mean we can't get a show going. As a matter of fact, we're getting this show done a little bit earlier. This is actually going to be recorded on the 23rd of December because if you heard us last week, we're trying to prep you guys. The next episode is going to be on Christmas. And either we got Christmas plans or we're going to be hungover with just all this jolliness that we'll probably not end up doing the show that day. So we are pre-recording it. And it's a good time to do it because we've got a lot of news to get into. If you haven't already, make sure to follow us at Double Tap FGC on all social media platforms. Should join us on YouTube as well. We clip parts of the show and put it up there for highlighting, get all the visuals and stuff that we do right here on twitch.tv/DoubleTapFGC. So let's get into the question of the week from last week and the poll, because we had a lot of Tekken talk that went down, and we want to hear from you guys. So last week we asked, with the story, with the storylines that are being concluded here in Tekken 8, is Kazuya's arc concluding? Do you think Reina will be the new big bad guy in Tekken? We've got I believe it's a kind of like a 50-50 right now on that. Actually, excuse me, let me rephrase that. It wasn't Reina, it's that whether or not Kazuya was gonna be killed, or we're actually gonna get rid of Kazuya completely. We have, I think it's overarching right now. I think we put the percentage correctly. It's right around, I wanna say 55-45, saying 55% that he will be killed. Like, this is kind of like end of the world, end game kind of story. I mean, I don't know if you're getting that kind of same feel like myself, Static, like watching the story trailer. But it seems like, this might be a big arc for him, especially because they're bringing characters like Jun in, right, back into the fold. So, his arc kind of has to kind of finish, I would think, especially when we have Reina in the wing, potentially being the new big baddie coming up.
Yeah, no, it's story mode. We spoke about it last week. What else can I say? I wanted to be here now, but that's okay.
Don't worry, we'll get into more of that. But like I said, most people thinking, yes, it will be that. But we'll just have to wait and see until the game actually concludes, or actually the game comes out, to find out the conclusion to that story. But let's jump into it, guys. We do have a lot of news to get into. We may be doing this a couple days earlier, but there's no lack of updates, especially within the last 24 hours. It seems that Granblue Fantasy versus Ryzen is just the gift that keeps on giving this holiday season. So Rising is out, and a lot of people are jumping on. There's a lot more streams going on it. There's a lot more content being built on it. That hasn't stopped Granblue Fan Fest that is going on. As a matter of fact, right now they won, I believe it was just yesterday, in Japan, obviously. So time zones are a little freaked out right now. But we got a bunch of brand new news that came out of it. I thought the release for the game was just going to be kind of like the end all be all, right? This game has been one of the few that have kind of taken in this kind of big like rework in fighting games, where it came out, it did its thing, it wasn't up to par in certain situations, things like, of course, like the netcode and all that, and it kind of became the not a joke, but it kind of became one of the first games to kind of take things back to work on rollback, to kind of be like, hey, we're gonna improve this game. We don't have to, we don't have to just let it die out completely, right? There's already a big investment in it, especially because Psy Games is, it's kind of like their big foray into fighting games. They didn't want to just let the brand be lost in the sauce after it kind of had a decent start. But with, things like COVID and stuff happening, and the whole, us not being able to play in person, that whole era, y'all remember, fighting game netcode was, kind of the next big thing, right? We had to kind of up our expectations there. So the game went into hibernation. It went into the hyperbolic time chamber. It has been getting worked on. It's now become Rising, and it's been released. And with that, they are also coming out with a whole bunch of things, including some events that are happening now for the Arc World Tour. 3 specific events, specifically the GBF, the Granblue versus Psy Games Cup that's happening in Tokyo. There is the Kayane Cup happening in Europe, and then Frosty Faustings in North America. These are 3 specific events that are happening where each top finisher from these regions will actually be invited to compete in the Arc World Tour Finals for the championships for it. They have a bunch of news, or rather more of the details on the actual official Arc System Works website. But now we have, like, basically as expected, was them coming out with, some sort of support for the game competitively. I would hope they're doing that, especially considering they took all this time to not only just, rework, say, the netcode, but new characters, new game mechanics, quality of life improvements, story, expanding on mini games. You got all guys level of content that they've developed for it. So they're not just going to let this way off and not actually have a competitive scene. They're not forgetting about the people that have still been grinding the game, regardless of how long this development has been. The game is still what's happening at tournaments. People were still showing up for it. We've had people that we've had guests on the show that were several year champs in the game that are still just competing in it. So luckily they didn't forget about that twice. Yeah, actually, shout out to Zombie for coming on, and probably will come on in the future talking Rising for sure.
And also Diaphone, who's not stopping.
And I kind of tend to forget Diaphone was, built on Granblue, because, kind of made a big splash in Guilty Gear when Strive did drop. So shout out to Diaphone though, for real. So that wasn't the only announcement, right? So the big thing that kind of came through was their battle pass, right? They're like, hey, we're not just giving out a new game, but we have all this content that we want to share with you guys. So they're coming out with the new game, and they're dropping us a roadmap with a bunch of the information that's coming through it. So there's threads on it. You can check out GBVS_official on Twitter to see all the multiple threads on it. But the gist of it is this. We've got costumes. More like we got Normaya costumes, so already win for me, right. Us Normaya boys. The usual stuff. So you got costumes, you've got lobby avatars, additional music, in-game items. That's just adding to it. That's just par for the course. But what else are they bringing really to it? So they even broke down version 1.10, which is the first patch coming in for all this battle pass stuff that's happening on the 16th of January. It's going to have quality of life updates for the spectating lobby matches, bunch of in-game fixes, minor tweaks and additions, new stages, and including the first set of the first DLC character with Lucilius coming out, who is, from what I understand, right, this is the big boss right now for, I think, the arcade or the story. He's unplayable outside of mods, obviously.
Apparently, you have to play him with a lot of different requirements. So do a bunch of Skybound arts. I think about 6. And you can't lose.
Oh, so he's like a secret boss kind of deal, kind of like the old school, like to fight Goken or Akuma in Street Fighter 4 kind of deal with some parameters.
Yeah, or even the Nago fight. Yeah.
The Nago fight too. That's right. So I mean, cool. Like I didn't know they had to add those prerequisites, but hey, in the spirit of fighting games, it kind of makes a lot of sense there. To have something like that. On top of that, they kind of, you think that they were done, and they're like, oh yeah, that's all that they're going to give us is just the first run of DLC. Nah. Side game / Arxis, as they worked on it too. They're like, no, we're going to give you more. You want, we've been working on this. We've been cooking for a while. We don't want to just give you just an appetizer here. So we actually ended up with a roadmap, a complete roadmap for next year in terms of the content that they want to bring out and characters. So January, we're expecting Lucilius. We did get one for April and May as well, with Vayne and Beatrix, 2 completely original characters that I am just not aware as to who they are. Vayne kind of reminds me a bit of like Vanguard from DNF. I don't know if you know that character at all, Static, but with the staff and all that. And then Beatrix is just another kind of like sword wielding waifu, par for the course there. Remember, Granblue is an entire franchise before a fighting game. So there's a shitload of characters that they can be pulling from, and it's a gacha game too. So you got variations on variations. But on top of that, like I said, they told us, new in-game features, new game modes, new lobby mini games that they're adding, new bonus mode. And this doesn't even include the other additional characters, because there's actually a total of 6 characters. 5 and 6 are going to be happening in August and October. So they are already spamming and letting us know, the entire year's worth of content ahead of time, which is pretty dope. Or at least, half of it, we know the characters. You may realize I said January, went right to April and May. So far, there's nothing in March. Because I think the World Tour is happening in March. I think. I could be incorrect there. I got to double check on that one. But February has kind of like the biggest deal character that has been announced. I know we've already seen the Lucilius gameplay trailer, or that one's kind of been making its rounds. But the big character that's happening is actually the one in February, which we're going to be checking out here. And that is, of course, someone who has made it as a guest character in another fighting game franchise already. And that is, of course, we got Nier Automata's home, 2B, coming to Granblue. Who was not kind of like in my bingo card for guest characters to show up. I don't know who would have had her, but yeah, it's legit. When I saw the trailer, I was like, oh, this is gonna be an amazing mod. Like at first, when I saw screenshots, I was like, wow, this mod is so good, looks really good. Then I saw the trailer, and as soon as I saw the intro, I was like, that's custom. That's new. That's real. She's real.
I was watching TNS yesterday, and they were like, oh snap, I think 2B just dropped in Granblue, and we're like, wait, what? And I was like, wait, what? Everybody in the crowd in the chat's like, wait, what? And
exactly. Even if you saw the actual reveal trailer during the production for Fan Fest, it was nothing but question marks and exclamation points. It was all in Japanese, and all I saw was just Japanese symbols, question marks, exclamation point, and that went on for quite some time. The thing is, she'll be coming late February.
I was at my friend's house, stepped away, and I was like, we were playing Granblue as it was coming out, like as the trailers dropped. So we're playing, I stepped away and I was watching TNS real quick, and I saw that, and I'm like, I text my friend, I'm like, dude, just go play the trailer right now. What trailer? And I sent it to him. He's like, what are you talking about? He's like, oh, snap. And we just played it on the TV, and it was like, yeah, that happened. And we were watching Lucilius gameplay and all of that and playing throughout the game. So this game is getting mad love right now. Like, this is the hot thing. It's I don't want to say it's as hot as Guilty Gear was when it dropped, but it's definitely the feel of this is the conversation we're going to get back to coming later on today. It's like, I'll leave the teasing for that. I'll wait to the neutral, talk.
Yeah, we'll get to neutral ground before we talk about that. But I mean, it's so interesting to see this character actually make a cross into another fighting game, because previously she was in Soul Calibur, right? The latest iteration on Soul Calibur 6. She was in there, and she was actually competitively viable in that one game. I remember when she dropped, and at least for a while, we were seeing her in top 8s and such. She was making her way. So just looking at the gameplay. And Geralt from the rip was just killing it. And it wasn't even enough for them to just give us like the intro and just be like, here you go, that's it. Like, oh my god, that's crazy. They actually are giving us gameplay too. So like they just letting us eat. They're just letting us eat. They really were cooking for quite some time, and it feels like they just couldn't wait for Fan Fest to just start dropping the bombs on all of us as to all this that's going down. So 2B coming out in February, as well as bringing some actual costumes as well. There's some bonus DLC costumes where you can actually dress Gran or Jita in, I guess, a 9S or 2B outfit. You know what? A part of me was kind of like, hey, maybe they could break the mold a little bit, bring A2 on. 2B is great. Remember, a lot of people jumped on, Nier and Automata, like, I don't know if a lot of people can like pinpoint it as to when the popularity blew up with that character. I remember more specifically when you saw it was either a rain or a sewer sequence where you just see her walking, and Bayonetta could have had 1,000 man hours working on sculpting her ass, as supposedly reported. That's what they did. But 2B, I remember the footage when that one came out. I was like, yeah, this is a quality game. You went for the 2B, but then you actually stayed for the story. That's the funny thing about Nier Automata. Like you went in just to watch her, but then the game's actually really good. So I'm stoked to see that she's making a crossover. And guess what? Fighting games isn't the only thing. She's in like that Nike game too. The one with the waifus and the shooting, and you see their backs. They're all different. They kind of like are behind cover, and they're constantly moving back and forth. And you see like their backs. You'd gotta know what game I'm talking about, dog. There's no way. It's not Genshin. It's not Genshin. It's not Genshin. It's literally called Nike something. But regardless, she's in that game too. So she's getting just out everywhere. Granblue, yeah, just do it. Granblue, just do it. Just go purchase it. Go play it. It's out now. I'll be jumping back onto it. I can't wait. It looks like a lot of fun.
Or for free.
Or for free. Actually, you know what? Damn good point. or for free. You can still play Rising right now with limited, obviously limited content due to it being a demo, but you can jump in if you haven't. If you didn't get a chance to play the original one, don't know how it feels, how it went from that to what it is now, you guys can check out the demo version of it on Steam. It is free. They're covering you. All right, they got you. You don't need to pay the $60 for you to figure out the game is not for you. But chances are it probably is. It's a good game. But yeah, so Granblue is just the gift that keeps on giving. I believe there's going to be a day 2 for FanFest, so I wouldn't be surprised if we'll have some more updates on some possible more announcements afterwards. But it seems like they're just dropping everything right now, getting ready for the new year. But we'll keep you guys updated on that. In the meantime, though, we're going to be jumping on some Tekken right after this quick break from our commercials. I almost said our sponsors. We don't got any. These are a commercial break. We'll be right back after this, guys. Don't go anywhere.
And we are back. All right, so
oh shoot, and we are back. Next? Sorry, yeah. I was on the wrong screen. Yeah, we're back. Gotta make notes, gotta take notes. We're back. So yeah, Granblue, just dropping the bomb of all kinds of announcements, all kinds of content, all kinds of good stuff. You act like I haven't done this for a couple years, right? But we are jumping into some Tekken, man, because Tekken equally just as much stuff coming out. Tekken is something we can kind of get our hands on right now. As a matter of fact, actually, technically, yes, the PC demo is now out. It's now live on Steam. By the time we last covered it, it hadn't been out. It only was out on the consoles, but it is now live on Steam. So you guys can go ahead and check that out. In the meantime, though, we do have some trailers to check out firsthand. One is Shaheen, who got an actual official trailer a couple days ago. We already knew the character was in, but we actually hadn't seen any gameplay from said character. And a nice little 2-minute trailer did get dropped on us a couple days ago to check out. You know what's funny? Shaheen being a new character, obviously, because he was only introduced in Tekken 7. I really don't know. Yeah, Shaheen was Tekken 7. Yeah, he was not in any other Tekken before, because he was the first representative for the Middle East, I believe, in 7. Yeah, right. I'm like 99% sure.
Previous game.
You can go ahead and fact check me, but I'm like 99% sure. In the meantime, though, the gameplay trailer did drop. We are playing in Master Raven's stage, that real funky drug-induced LSD kind of stage. We do get some new looks and some new moves, including the whole I guess stance 3 slide into, not the slide is actually was there before, but kind of like his follow-ups on it, his kind of like opponent surfing moves. So Tekken 7?
Okay.
Snap, I know my shit.
Granted, Tekken 7's been out for like 10 years already. So
it has,
forgive me.
But yeah.
All right, maybe 9, but still. All right, it's been long. It's been a while. I mean, that's all
it has been quite some time. But yeah, Shaheen's looking good. He is jumping all over the place. I've seen the trailer, but I've also seen some content creators on YouTube that have, because there's a ghost that you can fight. There's different ghosts you can fight in the current demo right now. One of them is Shaheen, and you can't play him in the demo, but you can fight the ghost versions of these characters, and you actually get to see more of their kit. So some people have been breaking it down a little bit from what limited data they can get from actually fighting them in terms of frame data and such. He has a lot of movement options, as he basically should. He's kind of like the archetype, kind of like Rashid, right? If you play Rashid in Street Fighter, you kind of have an idea as to how mobile this guy can really be.
But reminds me of Lars a lot.
A little bit. But so the thing that gets me is I don't know his story. I really don't know what Shaheen's deal is. He's something about his friend, because he's got some beef with Kazuya, but I mean,
it almost sounds the same as Rashid.
The sky's blue. Right? Yeah, actually, Rashid has some kind of deal with him.
You killed my friend, right? Fang. How dare you? And he's like, taste the poison, and that's it. So you remember in the story mode, he killed his friend. He poisoned his friend, and it's they didn't even show his friend's face, and it was just Rashid is like, oh no, my friend, you killed him, and then he fights Fang, and that's it. And it's like, oh.
I never made that connection until now. So okay, interesting. I don't know what they're plotting there, but yeah. So we got to see his breakdown there. He's not the only character we have to actually get a chance to look into. We also do have Yoshimitsu, who did come out technically before last week. We forgot about him. Our bad. We had plenty to talk about. but Yoshimitsu kind of like fell in between the cracks. And funny enough, we brought it up, and like the first thing that our homie Jao, who's producing the show right now, actually asked, like first thing is like, hey, does he still like spin and appear or disappear like in the game? Literally the first thing the fucking guy does as soon as the video starts was that. Like Yoshimitsu is one of those characters that he's like the Jins, the Eddie Gordos, Yoshimitsu, and I honestly can't think of anyone else like that you would like. What? I don't want to say a normie, but like, you know, a normal person would think of when they're thinking Tekken.
Oh yeah, Laws, Paws, Eddie's, Yoshimitsu's, Nina's. Yeah, Nina's been in apparently every game. So, right?
Yeah, Nina's like one of the, I think Nina's one of the few legacy characters that have been in damn near everything. Yeah, you can't say Jin because Jin didn't get added until Tekken 3. Kazuya, obviously, he's like, you know, protagonist, antagonist.
But Kazuya wasn't in part 3. He wasn't in 3.
No, he was in 3.
Jin was the
yeah, you might
Jin
be
was
right.
the substitute.
Yeah, have to double check. All right, but Yoshi over here, the space ninja. Really, when you're thinking Yoshimitsu, I can't say much about the movesets. The most I think about is like, yo, what's his theme this time? Right, you had Octopus the one time, you had the samurai armor the other time. What's this time? From what I understand, it's Space Ninja, which I'm like, that's cool. That's kind of dope. But I don't. The other thing I don't recall too much because I saw his rage art. Does he talk to his sword that often?
I don't know, but to me this feels like more Guyver level, but it's also not robotic. Like you can say Space Ninja, but this is the most human I felt like he's ever looked, and he doesn't look as stiff from other games. So everything flows. It's not like in the last games. It really felt like it was always just very. Now I mean I didn't see him until recently in Tekken 7. Like people started playing him. I don't know what player it was, but he still felt Yoshimitsu. Like this time, he feels like he's almost like Master Raven levels of movement. So I really like how he's playing in this. Yeah,
deflecting Gatling guns worth of bullets. The special intros, like between him and Brian, I still can't get over the special intros. I'm like, I'm already mark my words now. Multiple, probably millions of views for just whoever comes up with the compilation for special intros on Tekken 8. Like that's an instant video that so many people are going to watch multiple times because there's just going to be so many little small details there. But yeah, so Yoshi looks cool. Pretty par for the course. I stab you. You fight me. I might stab myself, and I still win. You know, gameplay still seems the same. It's just a matter of like, the taunt. And just a matter of, what's going to be his drip this year, right? What are you wearing this year? That's about it. Yeah. So Yoshimitsu looks good.
He better still heal himself too.
Oh yeah. Well, we'll have to see how viable. We'll see how viable his kit is this time around. If we're not gonna, see him competitively, or we're gonna, maybe at some point someone might pick him up and see. All right. So talk about what we said earlier. Tekken 8 finally made its way onto Steam. It's been on consoles now for a little bit over a week. It's been on Steam now for, I think it's only been like 3 days or something like that. 3-4 days. And what happens when you port it over to the PC? Well, it got cracked. It's nothing new. I mean, as a matter of fact, Tekken has already been, I think the demo, the previous beta was already cracked because there was like, I don't know if you remember, there was like allegations with like certain pro players that they have been playing it already. I don't know if there was like any kind of like actual like proof on it, but it's water's wet. Right, water's wet. Yeah. It's going to happen. Like not really gonna go up in arms on it. But even like cats like Michael Murray have been tagged on Twitter about like people like, hey, what do you think about this crack? And they're like, well, I hope they read the user agreement that they signed when they got into the actual demo and all. Whether or not they're gonna find those people is another thing. But hey, it's out there. It happened with Street Fighter 6. It was going to happen to Tekken as well. So to the degree of what the crack does right now, is it just allows you to have practice mode and unlocks the characters. Because I think in demo right now you get You get Kazuya, you get Nina, you get
Paul and Jin.
Yeah, that's it. You get those 4 characters, but with the bypassing they can do on PC, you get everybody. Now, take it with a grain of salt, because remember, this is not retail. Stuff that happens in this version of the crack or whatever might not be what those characters end up being like by the time retail comes out, all right? Because a lot of people instantly were already getting, on the net, we're just posting up like doom and gloom, like, oh my God, these people are going to be tournament killers. They're going to be, they said that was 6. And, the results are the results. I don't think that really has affected any. And we're talking, what? 6 months worth of, like, I think a crack for a Street Fighter before the retail version?
No.
Yeah, or was it a year?
Oh yeah, 6 months. Yes, because I'd say about June. Only because I say June to June. I'm saying a whole year because it was like I remember there was commentary at Evo. Sejam was like, or somebody was like, "Yeah, man, it's already been 3 months," and then he goes, "Well, it's been 11 months for somebody else." Or he was like 11 months for other people, and I'm like, damn. So I think it was November of that year, but yikes.
You're only gonna get what, like a month maybe out of this? Not too bad.
Apparently, people have been playing some sort of part of it for a while, and here's what I think: they released the demo, and we're like, here, we know people are playing it. We're just gonna release the demo so that other people can play it and get used to the game now. Which is a smart thing to do when you can't really like catch other people playing the game, So have people learn your game now. Put a demo out that doesn't go away until the game is out,
and then watch really closely. That combo was a little too clean for being
sauce.
a day one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's really good.
Yeah, so good.
It'd be a shame if somebody would. Yeah,
exactly.
You knew they were all behind the scene, like.
Oh yeah.
What you doing?
Yeah, what's up, bro? That was kind of clean. Looked like you almost practiced that for way too long. All right, but so the game's out, or rather, the demo's been out. It's been unlocked. Do that information with what you will with that. We do not condone piracy in any way, shape, or form here.
Nope.
That was me winking. But it's out there. So you want to go and check out what Jun can do, go for it. You want to go see what Brian can do, go for it. Somebody, chances are, has probably uploaded it somewhere in some way, shape, or form. Just don't let Harada see you. That's it. That's all. That's all I can really warn you.
He has eyes everywhere. His sunglasses don't block anything.
He does. All right. So with that, man. So we're gonna get into. Let me see. I don't think there's any other game news really. I mean, Strive is striving right now. MK's on sale.
MK is on sale. Mortal Kombat half off. A lot of people are pissed. Yeah, half off on Steam Deluxe for both edition. The regular and deluxe. Yeah,
Deluxe edition usually $109. Now it's like $59.
Street Fighter is 34% off right now. Granblue 3, Dragon Ball Fighters. Yeah, okay. I don't know. I don't have Steam brought up. I put it away. I don't know if there's anything else. Samurai Showdown is on sale too.
It is. Can we talk about like Street Fighter's DLC real quick though? Man,
yeah. Was it the two
cross between? Costumes? I'm trying to understand why we're not getting as much like DLC as like. Honestly, I'm surprised we're not getting as much DLC as I thought we would get for Street Fighter 6 right now. As we've had for Street Fighter 5 in the early and even in year one, even in first half of the year. Like all these avatar costumes, I'm like, bro, are they really selling like cakes like that? Because the character costumes, we had to fight tooth and nail to finally get outfit 3.
Right. No, I don't even listen. I don't know. Well, that picture you're talking about, the one that was in the Discord that was sent to us.
Yeah. There was a tweet and stuff that showed. It was just. I don't know if that was
a character trailer. Yeah, those are avatar costumes. Yeah.
It's just avatar costumes.
They're all just not very impressive. But we're not even going to use them. I tell you what, I never unlocked anything. I didn't really care to unlock anything in like World Tour. I haven't done World Tour. I haven't done anything at all, really. I just play the game to play competitively, and I find my enjoyment out of that. But am I getting my money's worth? Yes, I think so, because I'm not putting any more money into any sort of like DLC packages. Because I also don't want fighter coins. Like, I feel like fighter coins should be something that you can earn as well, unless I actually got an Ultimate Edition pack. Like, if I actually got a full pack of the game, I should get a full pack of the game. Like, I have the DLC. That's the only other extra money I guess I put down. But what else am I getting out of the alts or whatever edition I got? I don't know. Unless I just got a battle pass. I can't tell you, because I don't like to do that realm where it's like half-ass stuff.
I got you. I you know what? Like Street Fighter 4, I think had a great costume pack like deal. Like I don't know if you remember those packs, that they were like the Brawler packs or the Shoto pack and the Wrestler pack or something like that, where they were like specific to certain character archetypes. And you just got, you know, maybe a couple characters, especially because when you were a player and you played a certain archetype, like it all fit the characters that you would probably pick, right? And they were like a deal. I don't know why they don't just bring stuff like that back. That would just be dope. But I don't know. Maybe they're just trying to wrap up year one and really focus on things like Capcom Cup and all before they're going to, I guess, maybe do their second round of trying to get your money in some way, shape, or form. But hey, I don't know. If TMNT skins are selling,
no,
who am I to judge? Again, that's not it for me. I'm not buying, but
yeah, weren't they put away for a while? Or I'm
not even sure. I'm gonna have to go peek it out.
If you want to play TMNT characters, just go get Nickelodeon All Stars.
All right. In the meantime, that's
probably on sale.
Probably
yeah.
Is. All right, so. This leads us. I mean, yeah, not a whole lot of other gaming news. Granblue's taken a big chunk of it for the holidays, but there's one thing that I want to bring up, though. I want to actually kind of have a discussion about, and it's something that's kind of been making its rounds. And I feel like this happens. I don't want to say like it feels. I know it happens, but it happens more in like conversation. If you're, you know, making your kind of your trips, your rounds around the competitive scene when you're traveling or you're just hitting tournaments. This conversation at some point happens, but it's making its rounds now on like your subreddits and on Twitter and such is what it is. So now everybody gets to see it. Everybody that gets to just see that on their timelines get to kind of get involved in. So it becomes a grander kind of conversation. And it's the talk about the new buzzword, neutral skip. So right? Neutral skip. What is neutral skip, Static? Tell me.
Well, this topic comes up actually more often than you think, and it probably shows up maybe, how do I say, once a week in Chris G's stream, where somebody will ask him, where do you think, and like maybe the past month, like, where do you think these games are going with how aggressive they are? Do you think these games should be aggressive? And it's like every week it was like Tekken's Heat Gauge, and then Wild Assault, and then this thing, and then with Granblue and their mana stuff, whatever it's called, and then other games. And it's like, yeah, it kind of is a buzzword. Neutral skip to me is whatever is just sort of, how do I say, it's almost like a game is rewarding. Oh, Drive Rush is another one. A game is rewarding rush down play rather than rewarding sort of defensive play. That to me is a neutral skip. For me, neutral skip though would be going through fireballs willy-nilly without any type of repercussion. That to me is a neutral skip. So like a bionic arm or a Marvel type of style where it's like, no risk. Thank you, no risk. But I mean, bionic arm.
No risk, no thought. Unga bunga, right? Yeah. Virgil press C. It's just a dub, right? Don't even think about it.
You're in the EX tackle. That was like -2. And then you can just EX headbutt invincible right after. Like,
so some more examples of it. So the reason this got brought up is because this is a tweet that's been going around right now at this point. It's got about 150,000 views on it. This is from, originally it was from a bad idea on Twitter, talking about noticing that recent fighting games are having a paradigm shift towards aggressive mechanics. Drive Rush, Strive's Wild Assault, Granblue's Rising's Raging Chain, and even Tekken 8's new Heat system, right? We're moving past the age of footsies and neutrals and into the age of Unga. for translation, we're moving past the idea of having a more thoughtful dance of, you press one button, I'm pressing this, right? Like we're trying to play our spacing game. We're trying to see who can footsie each other, right? Get our jabs in, go for the hook, go for the haymaker, whatever it may be, and going into the age of Unga. Unga meaning Unga Bunga, meaning I'm not thinking, I'm just going to press buttons and I win, right? Gorilla, puff my chest. That's the running gag. The Leos, right? The Leos or whatever. The Leo Unga Bunga, I'm gonna do whatever stance change, overhead, I win, right? But that's just being applied universally. So this was then responded by Infilament on Twitter, stating, I regret to inform you that there's never been an age of footsies and neutral. ST Vega wall dive, third strike Makoto dash / Yuri and tackle, Aegis, Yun, Genenjin, CVS2, roll cancel, Street Fighter 4's Viper, Fuerte, Seth, Jaguar kick, EX lunge, Marvel 3 Virgil sword. They're flying at you in every game, right? So it's just talking about like the idea that like, this idea that there's been a perfect game of just footsies, or there's been a history of it, when in fact it isn't really so black and white like that. Like it isn't really true. Like there's always, like, I don't know what it is. It's just, like I said, the sky is blue, the grass will be green. Fighting games will always have a level of bullshit in them. Always. So, no matter what they are. If I may, I feel like this is definitely how do I say? This is something we're going to talk about like at the end of this decade, because the decade prior, from 2010 to now, has been all about the comeback mechanic.
Yes. The comeback mechanic was the biggest topic. You had your
X Factors, your Rage Arts, your Ultra combos.
Ultra combos were the start. Yep. Mm-hmm. Because think about it. You had Marvel 2, which came out, and that was no comeback mechanic. You had the third strike with the parry. You had now we're talking neutral skip. You've got those games have their things, of course. But then you get to freaking Marvel 3 with the X Factors. You get to Street Fighter Cross Tekken with Pandora was supposed to be, but no.
But it just didn't.
You have super combos, like level 3 combos that do like 60% damage or something. And you go on and go on and go on, and then you get to now, and it's like, well, Street Fighter 4 had its neutral skip, but we never talked about it because it's like you have a vortex, and the vortex is what gets most of the coverage. So like we're seeing now, like for me, the biggest example is definitely the Guilty Gear part of it with those wild assaults. I think those are actually a problem in the game because it's like these characters are using something that takes away. It's a whole busted dumb mechanic. It takes away the burst from the other player, and then you have to use it, and then it's jump cancelable. It has so many different priorities out of it, and it takes away a defensive tool that your character can use, and it takes away from the neutral part of the game, where there's not even dead angles in the game right now. And then if you do the force, what's the circle?
The flex shield. The flex shield or FD.
Still not very good, because if a person knows you're going to deflect shield, they have a move that can just still get back in there. And it's like, I just wasted bar. And then Dragon Ball is the biggest neutral skip game if you want to talk about neutral skip. So that could have also been the one that brought it up in 2018, with just going through fireballs with the dash. Listen, that's, you can take that and do what you want to say. Say what you want to say.
Well, what I was going to bring up is just it's kind of the idea of like, was basically a lot of what you said is what I was going to bring up is that's kind of an illusion. Like, even if you take it as far back as Street Fighter 2, like Street Fighter 2, you had, like he stated, like, right, ST Vega, right? Left and right wall jumps, right? Like that shit was bullshit, right? That was
just saw a tweet about it.
It was the truth. That was always bullshit. Even at the simplest level, there's, it just vastly emphasized how different characters play. My big thing is when it comes to like core mechanics, right? Because I feel like we're getting a little confused as to like some of the mechanics in the game that are, especially the universal ones. Like you said, like your wild assaults, your drive rushes, your parries, your X factors, shield and uni and such, right? Those are all mechanics that are just like part of the core essence of how the game is being played, and like all characters have access to. Some characters have it better, right? Some wild assaults are better for certain much more beneficial to certain characters than others. Sure, there's a universal kind of like a level, a plateau, like you said, it's still effective because it can do X, Y, and Z across the board. But for some characters, it's even better because maybe they're invincible on wake up, maybe they needed a reversal, combo extenders, etc., right? My main thing when it comes to these neutral skips is that as long as if these mechanics allow players to not be pigeonholed into just the same reactions or responses every time, I think that makes it a great experience, in my opinion. Is it still bullshit? Yes, it's not going to be perfect because no fighting game is going to be perfect, not even in neutral. If you had the most neutral fighting game ever, like neutral-based fighting game ever, and that's what people wanted, motherfuckers will be playing more Virtual Fighter than anything else. But like that's the thing that like it trips me out, because like, you know, if you want to look at a game that is just pure footsies, purely about that, there is some bullshit, because I know Akira has like unblockables and shit, like self-unblockables or some shit like that. I don't know if that's still a thing now, but you know, cats are like, you know, they be playing Virtual fucking Fighter, man. If that's what you wanted, it's just this, a lot of this, and it's because I think there's just like a misunderstanding between the core mechanics and the neutral skipping. Like, you still need to, like, especially at a high level, like, you know, there is stuff to abuse. Yes, like you were talking about even like Street Fighter 4, even during that era, you know, that was option select Fighter 4, right? Jokingly after a while, because after a while there were just so many situations that the game was able to just play out for you, but even at a high level you had to be able to execute on, right? That was like the barrier to it, was being able to execute on. Not 100% all the time, like Capri was pretty brain dead. She kind of neutral skipped a lot, right? She could do that. I'm about to say, I'm like, I know you're not looking around, because I'm like, you were a DiCaprio player. I know you can attest to that. But yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, regardless, yeah, she's right there on your wall. But like, yeah, these mechanics, I feel like they're just getting misconstrued a little bit there as to being neutral skips, like DI and like a drive rush and such. Like, I don't think they're neutral skips. They're just the new. I say it's like they're just the new They're the new footsies.
It's the new move in without too much risk. Like, it's the. I mean, even in Street Fighter, blocking is a risk because you're killing the drive gauge, which is your resource, right? Yeah. The same deal with Wild Assault. You're killing the burst gauge, a resource on your opponent. So it feels more offensive because sometimes blocking just isn't an answer. Like, you just have to throw something out to check the drive rush, right? You just have to, even if it doesn't seem like the best. And blocking is the safest. You might just have to press a button and put yourself out there in order to prevent a drive rush from happening from a DJ or whoever, right? Whoever can abuse it. Oh, it's jury. It's jury. Definitely jury.
Or jury. Whatever. You know, everyone says DJ, but I'm going with DJ. But yeah, so I don't think games are becoming more neutral, like they're just skipping neutral board. Some things are bullshit, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not gonna defend all of them and say like they're perfect. Some of them are extremely, you know, kind of lopsided here. But I think that's just in tune with the game's design, because remember, these developers, they're trying to get new people in every iteration, every version of the game. Rising, right? Just drop. They're trying to get new people in. All the new stuff that they've added into it, you know, sure, they've taken feedback from the competitive community about things like the tech windows and all that, right? But like Tekken 8 with the heat system to be able to have access to more damaging combos or more ways to be able to have different characters that aren't necessarily fast, or have that ability to be able to chain, you know, certain situations, now have a universal mechanic that allows them to do that, opens up the window for more players to have more ways to A, express themselves, and B, have fun playing it, right? There are games at the end of the day, they're trying, they want to sell units, right? That's their goal. But, you know, for the competitive side, that's really where my question is going to come to you guys, the listeners. Do you think that with developers trying to bring new people in, with that in mind, do you think there are more neutral skip mechanics in the current generation than the older games, i.e. like all the examples Static just gave. Wild Assaults, your DIs, DRs, your parries, your shield mechanics, your RCs, the YRCs as well, even, was kind of a bit of a wild neutral skip, right, in Xrd. You can go as far back as Street Fighter 4 if you want. Do you think there are more of those now than there have been before? Or do you think the mechanics are just, kind of being a little construed as to being the new neutral versus just the neutral skip?
I think also, I'm going to sort of piggyback off of that. Like, different sort of, I know a lot of people complained about FADCs. They did make them a lot unsafer when they did happen, after like a bunch of iterations. But I don't know. That's the thing. I basically grew in my competitive nature in that aspect, where it did give you bad habits. And these, I feel like, not these, because I don't want to usually use neutral skip either. I guess people are just mad that their character can go from one side of the screen to the other side of the screen very fast. Granted, when I was Chun-Li in Street Fighter 4 and people threw fireballs, I got either rage quits or a lot of people messaging me because Ryu and Ken, when they threw a fireball, their little hands were all the way out there. So from full screen, I can do Ultra 1 from the full screen, and it hits them. It goes through their fireball. I'm sorry, but your hands were out there. But at the same time, I can understand if people want to complain about that. But what about Hazanshu? I can flip over a fireball if I'm at a range. Like, if you threw the fireball,
is that a neutral skip? I don't know. No. I don't know if that counts, but like I said, I think the biggest thing that people want to take away is just how it bungees, a player's skill is from like this level to this level in matchups, or even just in general play, to like what could a professional do, right? And
I get that.
It gets lost
as well. Yeah, because a lot of times, a lot of people knew about the fireball, or the fireball tech that I would do, or basically go through it, and they would fake fireball and bait me, and I'm like, oh, that is legit neutral. Like, that's the dance.
We're doing the dance. Exactly. It's just it's just a little bit more complex, I want to say. That's kind of how I look at it.
And on one more thing, I do think what you said about pro, like, I think it's definitely like a pro competitor / maybe a intermediate player, maybe even a newer player, that sort of a newer player is getting away with a certain thing because they're doing they're taking advantage of these mechanics that are working on pro players. You know what I mean? So that could also be a take that's happening. Like, somebody could just be hitting Punk with drive rushes constantly, and have found like, yo, this is actually working. I'm gonna just keep doing it. And that's where they're like,
that's a neutral skip, because you shouldn't be able to beat him.
Shouldn't be in my face, yo. I'm actually doing something. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Sorry, we spoke over each other, but I'm actually doing something. Why are you hitting me? Like, I don't know. Sorry, Punk.
I had to let your impression out there, but so it's an interesting talk. It's still ongoing right now. Some of those Twitter feeds have been muted just because it's just been it's a conversation that invokes everybody, so everyone's taking their take into it. But that was just ours. Let us know what you guys think about it. We will have a question up on our Spotify, and of course it'll be posted up on Twitter as well, and on our Discord. So you guys, we want to hear from you guys what you think about it, your takes on it. We'll be very, very interested on that. So we are getting close to wrapping up for the show, but we're going to be taking a quick break. When we come back, we got a quick mod highlight to throw out there before we wrap up. So don't go anywhere. Right back. All right, so neutral skipping our way through this episode right now. Once again, question of the week will be posted up in our various socials. But before we wrap up this week's episode, we have a quick highlight. Hey, if you haven't heard, Elphelt's out. Don't know if you know, but she's out on Strive. Everyone's going nuts. I actually got a chance to play against my first Elphelt online. I finally got to get back online just the other day.
Wasn't me.
Yeah, she can be pretty annoying, but once I was in there, so there was no getting me out.
Yeah, but and you could borrow, or what is it? Yeah, your counter. Get out of here.
Yeah, I'm having, you know, it's funny. I'm having a weird issue where Kabari, the tether doesn't render right now. So when it hits, I have to look for the bell. I don't see a rope anymore. I don't know if that's yeah, I'm getting a very weird UI issue for that. I'm gonna have to peek out on that. But what you guys need to peek out, of course, is this mod coming up here. So for those that are fans of Cyberpunk, more specifically Edge Runners, you might know of a little character as Rebecca. Kind of won the hearts of a lot of people, smashed a lot of hearts, all that good stuff. Well, someone by the name of Holy Daddy Boo Boo, I want to say it's probably Bobo, but you know, I'm gonna go with Boo Boo only because it sounds a little better. So Holy Daddy on Game Banana released a mod, a recolor based on Rebecca from Edge Runners that can go over Elphelt's standard color palettes from whatever, you know, slot you want from 1 to 15, because she does have all those additional colors as well. And it just makes sense. She's got guns, she's tiny, she's smiling a lot, and she can potentially get a 100-ton weight smashed on top of her, as Elphelt probably deserves, not so much Rebecca. But this mod is free, of course. You guys can check it out once again at Game Banana, just in time for the holidays. If you are, you know, feeling, I don't want to say festive, but if you're trying to just feel feels, you guys know what, you know, for those that have watched Edge Runners, you know what I'm talking about. It's a quick reminder of what probably could have been, but unfortunately isn't. But go check it out, especially all my Elphelt mains. I'll be installing this as well on mine, because I think it is actually a really dope color palette swap. It works out very well. Yeah, I just dig it. So I wanted to highlight that. So shout outs once again to Holy Daddy Boo Boo for actually creating the mod itself and posting it up for everyone to enjoy, cry, whatever, one or the other. But it's out there. I don't know if I'm gonna feel anything every time I'm gonna beat down on an Elphelt with this color, but I don't care. As soon as this hits start, you know, Heaven or Hell, Duel 1, it's over. It's over. Just gonna smash that. No problems. All right, so with that, guys, that's gonna be it for us on this week, on this episode of Double Tap. Once again, we are recording this before Christmas, so it give us the opportunity to say, you know, happy holidays, be safe, enjoy the time with the fam, or if not, if you're gonna be going online and playing, getting some sets, we'll probably be on there. Come say what's up, see us, challenge us. Of course, you know, like I said, stay safe and all that, and just be ready, because we're gonna have a nice new year of new stuff to look forward to for fighting games. So you're gonna want to make sure to stay tuned for next episode, which is also gonna be before New Year's, because New Year's lands on a Monday as well. When we're recording some really awesome stuff to look back on and then look forward to when it comes to the fighting game community. But that is gonna be it, guys. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us for another episode of Double Tap. I, of course, been Crashtag. You can follow me at CrashTagVS on all social media platforms. You can check out my host. Well, yeah, you can check out my host, even though he's not here, Meza at MezaFGC. Make sure to check out Static Gorilla at Static Gorilla on all social media platforms, as well as on Twitch. He goes live. I guess you're doing some TNS still, or
listen, I did TNS Wednesdays. Those are the Street Fighter days, but yeah, O2 brackets are cool, I guess. Yeah. Hey, I was on stream and I got 3-0'd, whatever. And
we're gonna catch on some Tekken though, because you're playing some Tekken right now, right?
God, everybody wants me to play that game. Fine.
Play some Tekken. I'm gonna play some Tekken. You should play some Tekken. We'll suffer together.
Yes.
All right. So make sure to go follow him. Make sure to follow us at Double Tap FGC on all social media platforms, as well as on YouTube. We cut up a bunch of highlights here from the show that happens live on twitch.tv/ you guessed it, Double Tap FGC. Make sure to follow us, subscribe, all that good stuff. It helps a whole lot out. We're gonna be doing a big push for content this year coming up. A lot of stuff in the works, and we're really, really excited to do it. We appreciate everyone that has had a chance. Also, make sure to support the show free of charge completely. Liking, retweeting the show. We do post up when it goes live, a new episode every Tuesday, every week. We damn near have not missed any. Knocking on wood here. Giles probably cringing in the background. But make sure liking, retweeting. It helps a whole lot out. Also, rating the show on your podcast platform of choice helps a whole lot out. We love to get the feedback. We highlight it every time we get some new feedback. We say here on the show, we love to hear what you guys' thoughts about it. Greatly appreciate its feedback. We want to hear from you guys, the listeners who are taking the time to actually listen to us. We greatly appreciate it. All right, so that's going to be it for us, guys. Make sure to stay tuned after the show to hear about the other shows here on the MTV network. We'll be once again, new episode next week before New Year's in due time. Once again, happy holidays. Stay safe. Time to practice. Get your matchup on. All right, until then, we'll see you guys next week. Later.
See you.